5. Abandoning old goals or identities. This type of letting go is about those dreams or self-images that we cling to even when they no longer serve us or are no longer attainable. Examples: letting go of the idea of a certain career or life path you envisioned because reality turned out differently. Retiring from a profession that was your identity for decades. Or shedding an identity label like the smart one or the caretaker that has defined you but maybe constrained you. It can be deeply bittersweet. It involves grief for the future that won't be or the self you used to be. But as we noted earlier with goal disengagement, being able to disengage from unattainable goals and re-engage with new ones is crucial for well-being. Special considerations. Humans often equate consistency with integrity. We're culturally primed with sayings like, never give up. So letting go of a goal can feel like failure or betrayal of self, but it can actually be growth and wisdom. Research by Karsten Rush found that those who could adjust goals when needed had better emotional health. It's adaptive, not weak. Identity changes are challenging because they require us to step into uncertainty. If I'm not X anymore, who am I? It helps to frame life as having chapters, and you're beginning a new chapter rather than ending the book. Goal disengagement research emphasizes the importance of re-engaging with new goals. So use writing to brainstorm and envision new goals or values to pursue. It shifts the narrative from loss to opportunity. Micro practices for old goals identity letting go. 1. Goal funeral ritual. Conduct a funeral for the goal or identity you're letting go. Write a eulogy, what the goal or identity meant to you, what you learned from it, why it's time to lay it to rest. For instance, we are here to honor my dream of becoming a professional musician. This dream inspired me for 20 years, brought me joy and purpose, but now I lay it to rest with gratitude because my life has taken a different direction, and that's okay. You can actually do a small ceremony. Maybe fold up the dream and bury it in your backyard, or burn it safely while saying goodbye and thank you. This symbolic act provides closure. It acknowledges the significance of the goal, we're not dismissing it as silly, and formally lets it go. It sounds somber, but people often feel a sense of relief and completion after doing this, similarly to how a memorial helps in grieving a loved one. After the funeral, allow yourself to feel whatever, sadness, relief, and then consciously say, all right, it's time for what's next. 2. Hello New Identity Journal. Start a journal as if you are already in your new role or identity. For example, if you're letting go of being a student and entering professional life, journal as a professional. What does your day look like? How do you feel? If you're no longer the young prodigy and now just one of many adults in your field, journal about the freedoms and new perspectives that brings. I'm no longer carrying others' sky-high expectations. I can define success on my own terms now. If you moved from city to countryside, letting go of city slicker identity, write about what your rural morning routine is like, what you appreciate now. This future-focused journaling helps concretize and excite you about the new chapter, rather than leaving you gazing at the closed door behind. Goal disengagement research emphasizes the importance of re-engaging with new goals, so use writing to brainstorm and envision new goals or values to pursue. It shifts the narrative from loss to opportunity. 3. Connect with role models or communities. Find people who have gone through similar transitions and talk to them or read about them. If you're retiring, letting go of career identity, join a retirees group or volunteer group to see fulfilling post-career lives. If you decided not to have children, letting go of parent identity you assumed you'd have, connect with content or communities of child-free individuals living full lives. Seeing examples helps your brain realize there is life and success and happiness after letting this go. It normalizes the experience and provides a roadmap for how to thrive in the new scenario. If you can, talk one-on-one. Ask how they felt during the transition, what helped them. Often they'll reassure your fears and inspire new ideas. This social proof is powerful against that inner voice that says, you're giving up something essential and you'll regret it. Instead, you'll hear, letting that go was the best decision I made. It allowed me to do X, Y, Z. 4. Value reset exercise. List your core values, e.g. creativity, family, health, freedom, learning, etc. Then check which values were served by the old goal or identity and how they can be served in new ways now. For example, if being a doctor was your identity and you retire, Maybe the value was helping others. In retirement, you can fulfill that by mentoring or volunteering. If a scrapped goal was to become famous, value might have been recognition or impact. You could channel that into a leadership role in your community or a side hobby where you shine locally. By aligning new actions with the same underlying values, you feel continuity. You're not abandoning what's important, just finding a new outlet. And if the old goal or identity had some values that were extrinsic, like wealth or approval, perhaps this is a chance to reevaluate if those truly matter to you now, or if other values want to take priority now. This exercise helps you not to throw the baby out with the bathwater. You carry forward what truly matters in a fresh way. Example vignette. Lena spent a decade training to be an academic professor, envisioning a tenured life. But the job market is awful and she hasn't landed a position. At 35, she's considering leaving academia. This feels like an identity death. Her ego is screaming, "You're a failure if you quit." She bravely holds a goal funeral one evening. She lights a candle and reads a letter she wrote. "Dear Academia Dream, I honor you. You drove me to achieve a PhD, to discover my passion for knowledge. You gave me purpose. But our paths diverge here. I release you with gratitude. Goodbye." She cries, mourning that life she imagined. After blowing out the candle, she feels oddly lighter, as if she got permission to move on. The next week, she journals in a future self mode. She imagines herself as a research analyst in industry, an alternative career, writing about how she enjoys collaborative projects and actually makes more money and still satisfies her curiosity solving real-world problems. She even notes enjoying free evenings now that she's not chasing endless publications. This vision excites her. She also joins an online forum of ex-academics who share success stories outside academia. Reading those, she realizes many others let go of this path and are happier. It's possible. Lastly, she lists her values: knowledge, contribution, independence. Academia was one route. Another route could be writing science articles or working at a think tank. She starts applying those values in new ways, like writing a science blog, which oddly gets her more recognition value than her academic papers did then. Over a few months, Lena's identity shifts. She's now calling herself a science communicator proudly. There's occasionally a twinge when she sees friends who got professorships, but she reminds herself of why she chose differently. Her health and happiness are better now. She's let go of the academic identity with respect and embraced a new one that aligns with her values. And she realizes letting go wasn't losing herself at all. It was finding herself outside of a narrow definition she held onto for too long. Narrator, encouraging. We've walked through these scenarios to show that letting go is a versatile skill, whether it's about people, emotions, or parts of ourselves. The tools, awareness, emotional processing, reframing, etc., adapt to the context. The micro practices are like small steps that cumulatively lead to big changes. Remember, you don't have to do them all at once. Try one or two that resonate and build from there. Ultimately, across heartbreaks, grudges, shame, perfectionism, and shifting identities, the common theme is this: you are making space. Space in your heart for new love or peace, space in your mind for present joys instead of old hurts, space in your self-concept to grow and change. As you apply these techniques, be patient with yourself. Real life letting go is often 2 steps forward, 1 step back. That's normal. If you slip, like you contact the ex, or you catch yourself ruminating angrily one night, don't view it as total failure. It's a process. Recommit and recognize how far you've come. We've seen scientifically that letting go is not a single moment of epiphany, but a rewiring process. It's incremental, but it's so worth it. Now, let's wrap up with a summary and a final reflection on how you can continue this journey of releasing what no longer serves you and embracing the freedom that comes with it.
We've journeyed through the science and soul of letting go, from understanding how our brains clutch onto pain to learning how we can gently pry our fingers open and release it. By now, a clear message emerges. Letting go is not one magical moment. It's a gradual rewiring, a process of transformation. It's like the slow melting of ice into water. Rigid pain and fear can thaw into fluid acceptance and hope. Along the way, we engage memory reconsolidation to rewrite old stories, cognitive reappraisal to change our perspective, and practices of acceptance and forgiveness to lighten our emotional load. We confront why it's hard, our brain's default mode, our amygdala's alarms, our habit loops and identities, and we apply targeted, evidence-based tools to counter each hurdle. bit by bit, we carve a new path in our neural circuitry and in our lives, one that leads away from the stuck past and towards a freer present. Letting go does not mean forgetting or that the past magically vanishes. Think of it as carrying a heavy backpack for years and finally setting it down. The memories, the experiences, they're still yours, but you don't have to carry the weight of them everywhere. You can remember without reliving, as we saw with exposure and reconsolidation techniques. You can forgive without excusing, and you can move forward without denying where you've been. In fact, by releasing the grip of resentment or regret, you're not losing part of yourself. You're reclaiming energy and space within yourself for new growth. As one neuroscientist insightfully noted, holding on to enduring bitterness or sorrow can filter into our identity and limit our potential, whereas forgiveness leaves space for our richer sense of self to drive our experiences moving forward. The same is true of any form of letting go. It leaves space. Space for compassion, for creativity, for new relationships, for peace. Before we part, I invite you to take a moment and reflect. What is one thing you are ready to begin letting go of? It could be a grudge, a disappointment, a label, a fear. Picture it in your mind. Acknowledge how it has affected you. Maybe it taught you something or protected you in some way. Gently think it. Yes, even the hard feelings, for they had their reasons. And then visualize yourself loosening your hold on it. Maybe you see it floating away like that balloon, or dissolving like a dark cloud, revealing sun. Feel the lightness in your body as you imagine that burden lifting. That is the feeling we're working towards. It might not happen overnight, but every small step, a journal entry, a difficult but honest conversation, a moment of self-kindness instead of criticism, is a step towards that lighter you. Remember that letting go is a skill, and like any skill, it improves with practice. Some days you might feel like you've taken back a load you already put down. That's okay. You now have the knowledge and tools to set it down again. Each time, it gets a little easier and the load becomes a little smaller. The research and stories we explored show that people do overcome even deeply entrenched hurts and patterns. The brain can change, the heart can heal. What's crucial is to approach yourself with the same compassion you'd offer a dear friend. You're not weak for struggling to let go. You're human, and you're growing. As a final actionable thought, consider creating your own letting go ritual or practice. It could be as simple as each evening writing on a piece of paper one thing from the day you want to release. Stress, anger, embarrassment, and then literally crumpling the paper and tossing it. Or every morning practicing a 5-minute meditation where you set an intention like, today I release the need to control everything, and visualize moving through the day with more ease. These consistent practices reinforce the new pathways. Over time, you'll notice the shift. Perhaps someone mentions that you seem more at peace, or you handle a trigger that would have upset you greatly in the past with surprising calm. The core takeaway from this deep dive is that letting go is a courageous, scientific, and sacred act of self-care. It's how we declutter our emotional attic and make room for new life. It doesn't mean we forget or that it doesn't matter anymore. It means it no longer controls us. We remember without reliving the pain. We learn without being chained to the lesson. We can finally say, that was part of my story, but it is not the whole story of me. As you finish this video, I encourage you to carry forward one idea or tool that resonated with you and put it into practice. Maybe tonight you write that forgiveness letter, or finally trash that box of could-have beens, or simply sit quietly and breathe out the name of what you're letting go of. And be sure to celebrate the victories, however small. Every time you choose not to send that angry text, or you respond to yourself with kindness rather than shame, it's a win for your well-being. Feel free to share in the comments what you're working on letting go of, or any techniques that have helped you. Your story might inspire someone else at the start of their journey. Ask questions, engage with this community. We're all here to support each other in becoming freer and happier. Thank you for coming along on this exploration. Letting go is a science and an art, and you've got what it takes to master both. Here's to the beautiful, lighter future ahead of you, one step at a time. Remember, you have the strength to let go, and in doing so, you're not losing yourself, you're finding the self that's been there all along beneath the weight of what you've carried. Take a deep breath, let it out, and until next time, be kind to yourself and keep moving forward. You've got this.